Welcome to my WOW Chats, words of wisdom from people I admire, respect, and whose work is in line with making this world a better place. And that includes you.
Aw, thank you, Shelly.
Oh, this is Mary Jo DeCoteau, and we have known each other for 40 years.
At least, yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
we used to figure skate together at the Saskatoon Figure Skating Club back in the late 70s and
Good
80s.
times.
Yeah. So MJ, your work is amazing. MJ is the founder and executive director of Rethink.
Yeah, Rethink Breast Cancer.
Rethink Breast Cancer. And your work is just, you've been doing that for 18 years, you said.
Yeah, since 2001.
Wow, your work is phenomenal. And tell us and tell everybody that's listening why you got into something like that and why you've stuck with it for so long, for 18 years.
Okay. So thank you, Shelly.
Yeah.
Rethink Breast Cancer started with my own personal experience. So you remember my mom from our skating days, and just such a great, awesome person. Finished high school, and she was diagnosed with breast cancer, early breast cancer. Her mom had actually had it a few years earlier, so my grandmother. And my grandmother was the type of person, she had 10 kids, Irish Catholic woman, everyone else came before herself. So she kind of waited to tell anyone about her breast cancer until it was quite a big lump.
Oh.
Finally said something. She had a mastectomy, had some radiation, and she was great. Like, she did really well. Then my mom was diagnosed a couple years after that, and her tumor was found very, very, very early. Had some treatment. We kind of took it in stride. We kind of thought, oh, okay, like this is going to be like grandma's.
Oh, okay.
And unfortunately, my mom, we know so much more about how breast cancer behaves, but at that time, it was caught early, it was small, good. Like, they had this treatment plan. But unfortunately, we know now that even a small tumor can be very lethal. And it came back within a year to the same breast. She had a mastectomy. Again, we kind of thought, okay, now it's good. But just under that 5-year mark, it had metastasized to her liver. So from that point, we found out, diagnosed in April, passed away by end of November. Like, it was just a very aggressive, an aggressive cancer, and she tried some kind of experimental treatments at the time. But it was really tough because she was our mom, and just kind of the rock in the center of our family, and just kind of brought us, just like many moms do, like they're just special people. And, we just felt like, I don't know, she was a big hole missing. Obviously, losing her was really challenging.
How old were you?
I was 22.
Okay.
Yeah, so just, kind of starting my life, and suddenly, where is she? Like, where is she for all those milestones and what's going to happen? So I wanted to get involved. I was worried about my own risk factors, kind of my mom and my grandmother, and I went looking for information, and everything I could find had a 65-year-old on the cover of the brochure, whether it was like how to do a breast exam, or even for fundraising, it was kind of that, here I am wearing pink, because I do love pink, and Shelly put me in this pink chair. But it was kind of geared towards that 55 and up crowd, or 65 and up crowd, and I thought, what about the young women who are like me and have been affected and want to get involved, or like, how can we get this great information in this pamphlet for someone older and reposition it for a younger audience? So Rethink really started as an awareness and education movement to get young people involved in the cause, educate them, empower them, give them a place to fundraise where they could feel a little bit more relatable. So that was great. And then suddenly we had young women with breast cancer reaching out to us. They would see our website or see our campaigns, our fundraising events, and just felt like, this is breast cancer and it looks young, and I'm young.
Wow,
and
okay,
here
I
was,
didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Okay.
operating kind of a very small organization at the time, and just kept meeting with young women with breast cancer and finding out that their needs were falling through the cracks. So difficulty getting diagnosed. Just told, just keep an eye on it, and kind of not. It's a tough situation because it is more rare in young women, so we don't want the healthcare system to. We understand the difficulty of diagnosing young women, but then hearing the challenges of like, I'm dating, I've had a mastectomy, or I'm, I've got small children, or I wanted to have children, and now I'm not going to be able to for the next 10 years because I'm on this special treatment. And so starting to hear about those issues, and just felt like, we need to do something for these women. I would just take coffees and hear these stories. And so we started with psychosocial support first. So creating customized support resources and support programs for young women with breast cancer. And from there, we built a community. And what we like to say is we bring people together, we build the community, and that's where we hear about the needs. So,
so it's very it's driven by the
women.
person.
Yeah, and then we work with those women. We inspire them to work with us and work with each other to create new resources, to create change, advocacy. And so I feel like I've seen so much change in 18 years. There was no social media when I started.
Okay, yeah.
But now we have an Instagram community of 18,000 highly engaged young breast cancer patients.
Well, I was going to ask, like, so for people listening, like, this is all over? Like, it's online?
It's
accessible?
online, yeah. So a lot of it is, Instagram is the new place to be for our community. We do have a private Facebook group. We have a public Facebook group for anyone, but we have a private Facebook group that's moderated to give our young women some support and make sure, the information that's shared is evidence-based, and we kind of...
And not, we were just talking about this, and not fear-mongering. Not like over-medicalizing or fear-mongering, just accurate and supportive and empowering and hope, right? Hope, providing hope. And do you have, is it just for women with breast cancer, or do you also have family members in these groups, or are there men that have breast cancer in these groups? Or
so the private Facebook group is almost like a resource, so that is for young women with breast cancer.
Okay.
But our public Facebook group, our Instagram, our events with education events, forums, different things like that, anyone can come. So caregivers, husbands, partners, family.
Okay. Do you think healthcare providers, like someone like me, would benefit from listening in and things? Like, do you think we could get some stuff out of that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
haven't asked her that before. That sounded really rehearsed, but I'm serious. Like, because I have a lot of healthcare friends that watch this. Like, would it be helpful?
It's so part of what Rethink does is try to bring the patient voice and patient values. We hate even using that word patient.
Yeah.
Bring our women's voices and their values anywhere where decisions about their health are being made. Yeah. And if healthcare professionals can learn by hearing directly from those directly affected, we think it's fantastic. Yeah. We actually were really excited. We have a young woman, she's got stage 4 breast cancer. We are able to get her in front of an audience of about 200 oncologists at the Canadian Breast Cancer Symposium. And this is recently. And at the beginning of the day, the scientists and these clinician scientists were just all talking about this clinical trial and that data. And it was all very new and innovative and data, and clinical trial results. And she got up and spoke, and you could hear a pin drop because it was just like, oh my gosh.
It's really profound. Yeah,
it was an incredible moment.
There's more and more patient panels at huge medical conferences, especially the pain ones that I've been going to. And our book chapter, the very first chapter, I don't know if you knew this, is from a person in pain, Joletta Belton. I have to give her a shout out because that chapter, it's just her lived experience of pain. And the feedback we're getting is that it's so profound from the healthcare providers reading it. So,
and I think there's something different about that one-on-one. You have as a physician or a healthcare professional, you have your patient one-on-one. But we want more opportunities where physicians and other healthcare professionals can have conversations with those with the lived experience outside of that intimate one-on-one setting. So I love that idea of trying to bring more people into conferences that have the lived experience and making sure there's those opportunities to learn.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's great. So before we go, words of wisdom. So if anyone's listening that has just been diagnosed with breast cancer, you've had so much experience with it, with your own mom, and then now 18 years, what would be just one thing? Is there one thing you can tell them? Any words of wisdom that you would give them?
Yeah. I would say what I've learned from most of the women that we've served and that we've worked with is finding that community is so important. And an organization like Rethink Breast Cancer is a way to find people that truly see you and understand you and you can relate to. We do hear a lot about the sense of isolation. Even if your friends, they're well-meaning and they're going to organize a meal train and they want to be there for you, there's something about being able to connect with other people that really understand what you're going through, that kind of peer support seems to be truly transformative.
And in a positive way too, right? Like a group that's understanding, and at the same time everybody, am I right, that sort of uplifts each other and hope?
Absolutely.
Because there can be another energy to that, I suspect.
Absolutely. And one thing we've really learned is the old way of thinking was to separate people with different stages of breast cancer.
Oh.
So if you're early breast cancer, you're in this group. Oh, if you've had a recurrence or you're now metastatic or stage 4, you need to be over here because you're going to scare the early.
Oh,
that was
really?
the old thinking years ago. So Rethink's been at the forefront of saying, you know what, we need women of all stages to be together, because when someone shares news that, oh, I've had a recurrence, the rest of the group lifts them up. They also learn from that other person's experience. And it's just like this incredible thing we're seeing in the last couple of years. And right now we have a campaign where we're trying to say, you know, if you have stage 4 cancer, you can't be your own advocate. You can't carry that burden alone. You need the support of the entire broader breast cancer community and the general public, because all together, that's how change happens. It can't be an isolated group of patients with a heavy burden of illness that are like trying to make the change. It's like, no, we're here for you. We're going to do this together, and we're going to lift you up.
That probably,
we're going to
rethink breast cancer. Mary Jo DeCoteau.
Thank you, Shelly.
Oh, I love you so much. This
I love
is so
you.
good.
Thank you for having me on your WOW chat.
Thanks for watching this WOW chat with my dear friend Mary Jo DeCoteau, and check out rethinkbreastcancer.com for all of the resources and the support that she mentioned, and check out some of my other WOW chats with other people that I admire and respect.